Thanks, everybody. My name's Andrew Leland. Like they said, I'm wearing a suit. My mom bought the suit for me. I got approximately 6 hours of sleep, so I'm fine. I think I'm going to be fine on that amount of sleep, so don't worry at all about that. I've been Bands of the Believer since the second issue, so that makes it almost 7 years. And May 2005, Amy Sedaris agreed to write a monthly advice column, which she called Sedaritives. And she did it for a long time, and then she, had a lot going on, so we occasionally would have a guest columnist fill in for her, always a comedian, always a hilarious comedian. And then after a while, it basically ended up being a guest columnist every month. And so over the years, we accumulated this awesome cache trove of hilarity, and that is the book that we are celebrating and inaugurating and consuming tonight. And we are super lucky to have 4 of the funniest columnists and contributor guest columnists here tonight. For anybody who just took rewind briefly, The Believer is a monthly magazine published in San Francisco, essays, interviews. It's kind of like if the New Yorker drank a couple of beers and then went into Central Park and read the New Yorker. Magazines survive on subscriptions, so if you like anything that happens to you tonight, whether it has anything to do with these 4 geniuses or not, please consider subscribing. That's how we survive. So, and there's cards to that effect that were placed on your chair. Briefly, tonight's format: the dudes are going to come out. I'm going to interview each of them separately, while the other 3 remain silent and grim. After each individual interview, one of the dudes will read a little bit from his contribution to the book that I just mentioned. When that is finished, then the index cards will be brought to me. I will select the awesomest ones, and then they will respond to your questions thusly. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming the 4 excellent panelists we have tonight: Larry Doyle, Eugene Mirman, Daniel Hammer, and Marc Maron. I require no microphone. I don't know if you can see, but there's a small plastic microphone hanging off of my ear.
It's a boy band mic.
It's a boy band mic, yes. I suppose, Daniel, I'm going to tell people who you are. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Do you have any advice? The theme for tonight is advice, so if it seems like I have an advice fetish, it's only because I've been told that we need to talk about advice. So I don't actually have an advice fetish. Do you have any advice for me, given your bio? I'm just going to go for it.
You can get right to it.
Yeah, all right. He's from San Francisco. He wrote 3 novels, most recently Adverbs, and many, many, many books for children under the name Lemony Snicket. He's a regular and cherished contributor to The Believer magazine. And you also may recognize his accordion stylings with the band The Magnetic Fields. He is Daniel Hammer. Begin interview. So, Daniel, let's say...
This feels just like hanging out with friends at home.
It's very relaxed.
That's funny because I don't feel relaxed, but I guess I am.
I was trying to buffer.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing a great job.
I Hey, Daniel.
Hey.
Have you ever received a particularly bad piece of advice? Okay.
I feel almost continually, I guess. But I like to talk a lot about my 6th grade handwriting teacher, Mrs. Udall, because it was at Cooper Middle School. And I hardly ever think about her, but I talk about her a lot.
I believe you. So glad this checks out.
And she was concerned with my messy handwriting, and she told me that I already then wanted to be a writer, and she told me that if I didn't improve my handwriting, no one would ever read what I wrote. And I sometimes think to myself, and where are you now?
You should send her your books.
Yeah, yeah, that would make that clear to her. But I I think I mostly gave bad advice.
Like what?
I was just thinking about this because she emailed me that the actress who was in the Lemony Snicket movie, Emily Browning, who played Violet Baudelaire, nice Australian teenager, strong Australian accent in real life, no accent in the movie. I find that impressive. At the opening of the movie, she and I were standing next to each other briefly before it was time to go down the red carpet, and she said to me, "I'm really nervous." And I never had done anything like this before, but I decided, like, I'll just give advice on it. And so I said, "It's not going to be a big deal at all. It's just, you know, we're just walking into the movie theater. It's going to be fine." And then so she said, "Oh, okay." And then she rounded the corner, and it was like a mass of photographers and people screaming like, "Ah!" bunches of them. So that she would look at them in particular, and they would get the best picture. And she was horrified and blushed and everything. And I like to console myself with at least the fact that she was 15, and so she probably was not at an age where she was nervous about her appearance or anything. She was over that at 15. That's when you're at your maximum confidence about your body. Particularly when you're young. But I do that a lot, where someone says, "I'm nervous about this thing," and I have no experience in it, and I'm kind of like, "Well, I'm sure it's like this. I'm sure it's basically like being on a submarine. You know, I'm sure it's, how hard can it be? You just go in there and you tell the truth or something, and it's never." So I think based on my own bad advice giving, I think whenever I hear how hard can it be, I think this person doesn't know what they're talking about, because I do that all the time. How do you know? It's just put a little extra sawdust on your hand. It's fine. Why would that? I'm not following. Why are you so concerned about it?
You have a son, is that correct?
Yeah, I do. I have a son. He's a proud graduate of the JCC preschool.
Yeah!
Keep it up.
Sudan Katana.
Does he have verbal skills yet? He speaks?
When you don't have a kid, is what you're
No,
saying. Yeah,
no, sir, I do not.
yeah, he's in kindergarten. He speaks. We're really proud of him.
So he's at the advice-giving level of verbal skill?
He's, yeah, he got interested in traffic cops, and so he likes to walk around our neighborhood and write the word "no" on a piece of paper and tuck it under the windshield. Cars that are misbehaving. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you tucked it under all windshields, which I thought was just as good.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, and it's because I had to explain to him. I mean, anyone who has children know that you start explaining the world when they can talk and they're asking questions, and that every question you answer about the world reveals that you know nothing about the world, and the world is a huge mystery, and you have a deep existential gloom. He got into Kraftwerk, the band Kraftwerk, and he likes that song "We Are the Robots," and he said, "Are they really robots?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Are they pretending to be robots?" And I said, "Yes." And then he got into the Beatles, and he said, "Are they really Sgt. Pepper's? Are they really Beatles?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Are they pretending to be Beatles?" And I said, "No." Already feeling the world falling out my glasses. What are they? Why do they call themselves the Beatles? It doesn't make any sense. And then he said, "Are they pretending to be Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?" And I thought, yeah. But not, you know, they didn't fool anybody. I don't know, it's your bedtime. Get out of here.
Do you want to keep talking, or do you want to read from the book?
Oh, is that from the book?
No, it's your call. This is the kind of MC
my
I'm
call.
gonna be. It's like progressive.
Yeah, I think you're one of those sucker MCs we read about.